Hi, my name is Aanchal. I'm an architect by training. I've done my master's also in architecture from Jamia Millia Islamia. And before my master's, I worked for 3 years in hospitality sector in architecture. And then after my master's, I taught for some time. And after that, I came to the fellowship. I had an inclination to work in the urban sector, but even after my masters, my knowledge of things was very scattered. I would say it was not comprehensive, and I knew about UFP already. So I had contacted some ex-fellows also, so I was very well versed about the course, and I thought it would be a very good fit for me in order to know about all the transformations that go on in an urban setup through looking at them through various lenses. And yeah, that's why I'm here. So during my masters, we were in Vijayawada for one of our studio projects, and we were attending a seminar there, of which the choir at that time of UFP was also a part of. So I was just taken aback by the kind of questions that were being asked by these people, and I was very intrigued to know who are these people, because there were these amazing set of people from different various backgrounds asking questions that were not just related to the built environment, but the questions of governance, how the livelihoods of people who are living there, and all the different sorts of amazing questions. So that was my that's when I got to know about IIHS and UFP. Coming from an architecture background, I was looking at the city only through its built form. That was the only layer I had to look at the city. But after coming here in Commons, we studied about all these different layers like economics, government, identity, and all other layers. And I got to know that, in order to understand urban, you need to have sense of all these aspects also, and the intricacies of urban can only be understood by intersection of these layers. So yes, UFP has given me those lenses. I will start with the learning part first. So, this course is a combination of theory and practice. So, like in our commons term, like I told you already, we studied about all these different layers, and we got to apply them on ground during our practica when we used to go on field visits. We were not just looking I was not just looking at the build form. I was looking at the people. I was looking how the governance of that place works, how the economy of that place is working, and also in our last term, that is our project. We're working on a live project where we are taking interviews. That was also a part of our skill lab, where we got to know what are the different methods that are required in order to carry out a research. So I'm also able to apply those methods in my project. So that is I think the biggest learning for me here. And in terms of apart from learning, I would talk about the environment at IHS. For me, it's a very safe environment. I feel I am in. I have never been in an environment before, especially the faculty here. You can reach out to them anytime. They're always there for you, even for your smallest of problems. And also the staff here. Uh, uh, I mean, I have very good relations with them. And apart from the in-class learning, I would say the diversity of the cohort is also something I have never been in a space like that before. So there has been a lot of learning from the fellows also for me, especially when I got to hear about their narratives, about how their life has been before this. So I think the two things I learned from them has is compassion and empathy. That's what. So it's a whole new world for me, I would say. Yes, so I think it's very well in place. Like I told you, I already knew about the course very well. So for me, the commons where we learn about all the different layers of the urban, and the skill labs are the ones that can resonate with the most. Because I wanted to dwell more on the theoretical part of the urban, because I have practiced on field before, but what was lacking was the theoretical part of it. So yeah, that one is that, and also uh, during the skill labs, primarily the methods in primary research was one I had learned the most from. So yeah, and also during the practica, when we get to know to apply whatever we have learned on field, has been profoundly interesting for me. Yes, the one class I think I would remember throughout life would be the identity class. So before coming here, I was under the notion that in an urban setup, the question of caste is very blur. But it was during Gautam's session on identity, where particularly we had a in-class reading on Kaveri Gill's piece. Is when I realized the intricacies of this of the issues of identity in the urban. So I got to know about my positionality uh, here, and this was something I never learned during my graduation or my masters. But here is when I have got to know about the issues that come with identity in the urban. So, like I told you, I the only lens I had was the build form. So our topic was also urban morphology, where we were looking at build form again. But here, I think my perspective was more people centric than just the buildings or the built environment. So that was one of the major things that changed within me, I would say, in my gaze, in how I look towards things now, how I observe things. Along with that, it was not just so before, if I would say, before coming here, like in my thesis, during my master's thesis, I did a project on providing community spaces in an old neighborhood in Jammu. But there, my focus, all my design interventions were for the people, but without any consultation from the people. So it was all just my interventions. It did not have the people word in it. It did not have the community in it. So here, all whatever I was doing in Practica, that was from the people's perspective, through the narratives we got from people on field, to the interviews we conducted. So I think that was the major change for me in how I look at things now. I was very excited when I got into the fellowship. Um, but when the online course started, I think there was a gap. I don't know, probably from my side. I was not, I was not very happy with how things were going forward. There were the theory class I enjoyed a lot, but I think for the skill labs and the practica, I think more of a physical interaction with the faculty is important, because I realized that gap when I came here during a second term. That's when I realized that that if the online term would have been physical, it would have been a better learning experience for me. Of course, it has. Also, I just want to reflect on. So, our first class, online class, started with this lecture on infectious history of planning. So, I think the fact that the faculty, whenever they teach us, they keep going back to the history, giving context from the history and taking it here in the contemporary setting. I think that gives a very profound understanding of how the transformation takes place. I needed to dwell more into how research is carried out. So for me, right from the start, the methods in primary research and right now also the qualitative research methods, these two have given me a really good understanding of how to go about a research, and I have been able to implement it during Practica because. I being a very introverted person, it's very difficult for me to have a one-on-one conversation with somebody. But when we got our interview method class done, after that, during our Practica, we started taking interviews, and I saw that changing in myself, that how I approach somebody, how I'm able to build on a conversation, and how it grows organically. So that was a very major change that I was seeing in myself. And also during project, we are taking interviews, and these are telephonic interviews, but I am able to see that change in myself, that how am how am I able to just keep a conversation go on and on. So yeah, that's a very good learning for me, I believe. So the project we're working upon is with is the impact of COVID on domestic workers, on rental housing arrangements of domestic workers in Jaipur. So the first part was carried out before COVID, and the second part is being carried out now, and I'm a part of that. So right now we are taking telephonic interviews with the domestic workers, and we have made a questionnaire on which so it's a semi-structured interviews that we're taking. So from that we are going to transcribe it and analyze it on how the rental housing arrangement practices has changed for these domestic workers because of COVID. Yeah, so I think I'm able to apply all my learnings throughout the fellowship, whatever I've learned here very well. I can see that change in myself.